I'm proper stinky, mate. I need a shower.
It's really
I'm
hot.
very sweaty.
It's no good.
That's no good.
Hello, welcome to Play Talk Repeat. I'm Oliver and I'm joined by Niall, Alex, and Lewis.
Hello.
So it's time for the PTR Show, our bi-weekly news and discussion podcast. This week we're discussing FBC Firebreak, Metroid Prime 4 potentially releasing imminently, and the future of Xbox consoles. All that and more, but first, does anyone want to talk about some games they've been playing?
Do it.
One sec.
Boop, boop.
He's never prepared.
What have we
He's never
been
once
playing?
prepared. Right,
I'll talk first.
do it.
Go on then.
I will. You know what? I might. So for this time around, I've actually played 2 games to completion,
Oh,
as well as many others. So went back and played for the first time Overcooked 1, which I'd never played before. I've only ever played Overcooked 2. Just not as good as Overcooked 2, Overcooked 1. You can't throw stuff. You just can't. You can't toss stuff, which is a nightmare. But also, there's some levels which are made intentionally to infuriate you that are just absolutely ridiculous. It's worse than, I don't know if you can remember on the second one where you had to. It was like you were above a pit and you had to move around the platform which you were on to get to the different things. That was the worst thing. That was the only one we couldn't 4-star.
Is that the one where you have to like use the controls to move the
Yeah,
thing? Yeah, that's the worst level.
that was ridiculous. But one good game I've been playing is a game called Jump the Track. I don't know if you want to get gameplay up, Oliver. You can do if you want. But it's a visual novel pachinko game. So the idea is you're this fella, and it's a visual novel game. But with every choice you make, you first have to play a pachinko game to unlock those choices. So the like, as you can see on screen right now, there are different colored balls. There's like green ones, orange ones, and purple ones. You can see on the right, those are unlocking different choices. So you can either be diplomatic, fierce, or lie in this case. But if you don't get all the balls in the pachinko minigame, then you don't get to do that option. You can also not get any of the options. Then you have to do like a default option. And the game's only about 2 hours. One thing that's really good about it is that regardless of how well you do on the mini games, there's always a path forward. There's also a separate mini game as well called, instead of this one's called Inner Space, 'cause it's about choices. There's also one called Action Time, which basically is a binary yes or no of whether you can do an action or not. So say like there's the police chasing you and you're like, do I jump out the window? And if you choose to do that, then you got to do a pachinko mini game to see if you are successful in that or not. And so there's a bunch of different endings, a bunch of different outcomes, and it's just about playing the game and figuring out where you end up. But yeah, it's only 2 hours, and it's a really good story, and the mini games are really fun. So yeah,
might give it a go.
have I
Might do.
convinced? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Yeah, it's like for a visual novel game, like it's very consumable. I'll say that.
That is the trick with visual novel games. Like, you need to make them short enough or interesting enough. One of the two needs to happen.
Yeah, it's quite funny as well. A lot of funny little characters for sure. It's about taking down capitalism, which I know you're a big fan of. I know you're a big fan of communism. So also, I've also been playing a little game called The Alters. I don't know if you want to get gameplay up of that. You can do if you want. So The Alters is a funny one because it is a game made by the Frostpunk developers, which might make you think, oh, it's just a management game. Yeah, you might think, oh, it's just another management game. But it is, in fact, a management game plus a third-person survival game. So the story is you land on this planet and you're there to get a resource called Rapidium, which basically just speeds up organic matter to like age really quickly. Like so, the grass near it would be dead because it's grown and died. You know, like the chiralium, the Timefall. Yeah. So you're there to get that, but all your geezers which have come with you, all your squad mates have perished in the landing. So you head over to the big wheel, which is your base, and long story short, within the first hour, you resort to using Rapidium plus your own DNA to make a clone of yourself.
Oh.
And so, within 8 hours, from fetus to middle-aged man, you have grown a clone of you using what's called a mind path or mind branch. So you purposefully branch your own previous personal history at a certain point, which makes it so that you, instead of being just like just a classic guy, you are a scientist, or you are a technician, or you are a doctor, that sort of thing. And then they're born, and then they're their own person. And so the plot is surprisingly really good because it plays on that like sci-fi clone type beat, and it's really interesting, and it's surprisingly good. So yeah, playing through that at the moment.
Yeah, no, looks all right.
The movement looked really jank in this gameplay.
It might be the guy playing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, in the base itself, it is a bit janky. But like actually, when you're out in the world, if you skip along this, you'll probably be able to see you outside in the world a bit. On the planet itself, and it's just standard keyboard and mouse movement. So you're gonna be swapping orthogonal directions quite quickly because you're not using an analog stick.
Orthogonal.
I don't know if you use keyboard. Orthogonal.
I've never heard that word in my life.
Really?
North, south, east, west, isn't it?
Orthogonal. Okay, cool.
Orthogonal. Cardinal as
Cardinal.
well.
Yeah,
maybe
that one.
Maybe orthogonal isn't the right word. Maybe it's cardinal.
Yeah, maybe just making up words now.
Orthogonal just means stuff at right angles, doesn't it?
No, that's acute.
Pythagoras.
JK, that's you. Anyway, carry on.
Alex, did you say you guys have been playing some stuff?
Yeah, so because of the Switch 2, I finally went back to Pokemon Scarlet, and I actually played the DLC, which I was meant to play, like, when did it come out? Like 2 years ago? Yeah, it's just made the game like actually playable, and actually makes me like actively want to play it because of like how it runs on the Switch 2. But yeah, they were actually really good DLCs. What should I give them? 7 out of 10 for the first one and 7.5 for the second one, so they were quite good, to be honest. Other than that, it's just been a bit of Mario Kart as well. What?
What made the second one better?
It's just the actual area that it's in, so like you can unlock more Pokemon in there and unlock like starter Pokemon to actually catch, and just like the 4 different variety of areas. So it's basically you go to this other school, and then you go underground, and it's like a terrarium, and it's got 4 different biomes, and there's like 200 Pokemon to catch, I think. But yeah, it's just the world that it was set in is nicer, and the story was a bit better, and you can actually like catch some legendaries as well.
I remember one time in science, I got very embarrassed because I used the word biome, and I thought it was a made-up word for Minecraft. So I thought, oh no, people think I'm a nerd now because I said the word biome. What was your favorite Pokemon in that DLC?
My favorite Pokemon, Terrapagos is pretty cool. I like the big turtle.
Is that right, Lewis? Is that the good one?
Little turtle, isn't
he's just a bit of a weird Pokemon. It's just a turtle that makes use of the main mechanic of Scarlet and Violet, which is terrestrialization. So his entire design is based around terrestrialization. But he's just like a little turtle who sometimes turns into a big glowing turtle. It's not the most it's not the most original Pokemon design.
Yeah, but he's like the only new one in the DLC.
Yeah, he's just like a turtly guy.
What is the most original Pokemon?
That's the fucking hard. There's like over 1,000. Goldengo's pretty insane, I suppose.
Yeah, Goldengo.
Goldengo's a cheese string that rides a skateboard.
He looks really cool to her. What game was he introduced in?
Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet.
The latest one.
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
It's,
surely that infringes on some sort of copyright with cheese string.
And he starts off as his normal base form is called Gimme Ghoul. which looks nothing like this. Type in "gimme
Yeah.
ghoul," Oliver.
Give me ghoul.
Let's go back one. There we go.
Just a chest.
Just
He's like his little
just
guy
a
in the
fella
chest.
in a chest,
He's a little guy who sits in a chest. Yeah.
Is,
Yeah, and
it,
he's
is,
so-
is the chest the Pokemon as well?
Oh
it part of his body?
no. Well, I guess it would have to be. I don't know because I don't think so because you find Goldengos and you only find gimme ghouls and you only find gimme ghouls at chests. So
It's got different forms, roaming
I would
form.
assume-
There you go.
yeah, I would assume that implies gimme ghoul himself is the Pokemon, the thing inside the chest.
Right.
What would-
because
where would they have
Gimme
lived
Gimme Ghoul
without
liked
chests?
gold. The way you evolve Gimme Ghoul is by collecting Gimme Ghoul coins, and then it turns him
1,000,
into
right?
1,000, and then it turns him into Goldengo, which is this guy G-string.
Where
so
do
it's
you get the
pretty-
coins from?
You
by
just
find
speak to a gimme ghoul.
Yeah, you have to find a Gimme Ghoul in the wild who's sitting in a gold chest, and then it'll give you some coins.
And then you capture him and then feed him the coins, and then he
Yes,
turns into a
after
another
you
guy.
collected 1,000.
Yep. Oh, that was a grind. I remember
So
doing
that
that.
that's pretty original, to be fair.
Yeah.
I would put him
Apart
up
from
there.
him being the G-string mascot.
But then Pokemon also
Exactly.
just has like things like people always praise Gen 1, for example, for being like people are always like, oh, Pokemon should be like they were in Gen 1, but Pokemon in Gen 1 were just animals.
There are
It was-
animals and like objects, and then
Yeah,
objects that turn into
like,
3 objects.
It was just literally, oh yeah, look at this looking Bulbasaur, and it's like, yeah, it's like a frog, innit? It's like it wasn't. I don't know why people always make that comparison, like it's suddenly massively different now. I'd argue they're more creative now than they were back in the day, but yeah, that's a different topic. But yeah, I agree with Alex. The DLC is good. I did play it already when it came out, so that isn't new for me. But Pokemon Scarlet and Violet as a whole has been much better. Like playing that game with like an actual good FPS and the game physically looking good has been very nice. It goes to show that frame rates and like high resolution texture. Well, I don't know if I call them high resolution textures, but better textures, like really change how a game feels and how a game plays, as well as Pokemon. On the Switch too, I've been playing Breath of the Wild. That's the other main thing I've been playing. I haven't touched Breath of the Wild since it came out originally, and I had this really negative stigma in my head of what the game was. Like, I remember whenever I would think back to Breath of the Wild, I would mainly think about the things that I didn't like. But after playing it again, and I'm probably about like 15, 20 hours in to Breath of the Wild again at this point, I barely have any complaints, and I don't know if it's purely just to the game running infinitely better now, so it's just a much more enjoyable experience. I notice the flaws less, but like it's genuinely like a masterclass of a game, and it's just really damn good. And the Switch 2 just makes it way better than it ever was. I'm actively excited to play Tears of the Kingdom at some point in the future now, whereas before that excitement and that like want to play it was just completely non-existent. So I think the Switch 2 is done a good job in that regard. I think the Switch 2 has been a really good console. And I think it's sort of revitalized my my love for gaming a little bit, in the sense of it's nice playing on a system where I just play the game to play the game, instead of like PlayStation where I play the game for the game, but I'm also playing it for the trophies, and I can't disassociate myself from trophies and stuff like that. Like if they're there, I want them. But playing on something like the Switch that doesn't have them is just sort of let me sit back and just play the games how I should be playing them, which has made it really enjoyable. And I've just been having a good time, honestly. It's been a very good time for games at the moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I haven't really been playing much, really. I've just been playing Detroit Become Human. I think it is a remake, not a remake, like a remaster from a few years ago. It's fine. It looks nice, but the controls are still as jank as they were the first time, and it's even by like Telltale style games. Even by that standard, there is very little gameplay in that game. But yeah,
People still go on about
that one.
Detroit Become Human.
it's a
it's
good
good
story.
game.
It's a good
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, like it's got like an active fan base still somehow.
And because they got like Mr. Krabs in to do one of the characters, and
They do, yes, and it's
and
fantastic.
the fella who's in Grey's Anatomy, I can't remember what else he's been in, but he was in that as
Yeah.
well. But all
Yeah,
the
I don't-
performances are really, really good. It's just the gameplay,
Yeah.
junk.
It's a bit on the nose. Well, I was gonna say it's a bit on the nose sometimes. It's a bit on the nose all the time, which makes it kind of funny. because some of the stuff that it does is just too. It's just too in your face on the nose, and you know what it's trying to do, but it's not subtle about it at all. Which makes some stuff come across as very silly. But the game is very good. Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite of those games. I think. It's just
the only one I've played is Heavy Rain.
You haven't played.
It's better than Heavy Rain.
Have you not played
Heavy
Until
Rain's
Dawn?
class.
Have you not played Until Dawn or any of the Dark Pictures games?
I have played Until Dawn, but I like Detroit Become Human more than Until Dawn.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Until Dawn's great though.
Until Dawn's good.
Until Dawn's good. I just think
It's got Rami Malek in it.
Is better.
Without Until Dawn, we wouldn't have had Mr. Robot.
Is that true?
I don't know if that's true. Is it?
Is that just something you made up now?
When did Until Dawn come out?
It came out before Mr. Robot.
Did it?
I think they both came out in 2015, didn't they?
Oh, you know what? I'll use Google.
I know it's not important, but I feel like they both came out in 2015. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, they both came out in 2015.
Well, to be fair, neither of them would have existed without Night at the Museum. So
I mean that is true.
No. Very true.
God, that's some shite. Right, let's move on to the news, shall we? Niall.
You know what? Yes, we will.
Out with the olds, in with the
with
news.
the news.
It's news time.
So before we get into individual stories, we need to talk about the Donkey Kong Direct that occurred on the 18th.
Boo.
Okay.
Such a hater.
Lewis, actually, you've both watched this, haven't you now?
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously the big reveal from it was DK's Little Rock Companion isn't actually a Little Rock Companion, is actually a young Pauline, speculating rumours that it's a prequel to Odyssey.
I don't understand why people are trying to care about the timeline of fucking Mario.
Yeah,
Mario.
no, literally,
Like,
it's not like Zelda. It's literally
yeah,
there's not gonna be a Mario
nothing,
timeline.
It's nothing like Zelda. They specifically said that because each Zelda is each Link of each Zelda is a different Link, different Zelda. They said, I'm pretty sure at some point they said, I don't know if it was Miyamoto, but he said Mario works like Mickey Mouse rules. Yeah. Where he's just whatever you need him to be, and that's just it. You don't need to think deeply about it.
Right. But if we get into like game theories now, right? So the original Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong, whatever year it was, from the arcade game, was a different Donkey Kong. They've said it was a different Donkey Kong to the one in Donkey Kong Country. Now Pauline was a fully grown woman in the original Donkey Kong, so this must predate that. So which Donkey Kong is this? Is this why it looks so different?
No, but I think that's the issue as well.
Donkey Kong is in this game.
No, but I think that's the issue as well. Is I think that woman in the original Donkey Kong 64 has also been confirmed to not be Pauline.
But she's called Pauline.
Someone who doesn't care about.
No, but I don't think it's the same. But I don't think it's the same.
It's a different Pauline.
It's a different
Pauline
woman.
Jr.
Yeah. It's just a different. I just think it's Mario, isn't it? And they just don't give a shit.
I'll think yeah.
Well, yeah.
Mario. But yeah, for what we've seen, obviously we were saying before we needed to see more of it because what we've seen so far and all the impressions we've seen of it weren't glowing. You know, as you'd expect a Nintendo game to be. From what the shown in this direct, I'm quite excited about it. It looks really good. The gameplay actually looks fun. There's obviously a lot more varied environments than what there was originally showing. And it just looks like a good time. What interests me is all the menus and all the UI is exactly the same as Super Mario Odyssey.
It's the same team that made Odyssey.
They seem to have found their thing for platformers. It appears like they found for the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, like the menu system for that. They seem to have found the menu system for platformers. They're gonna stick with it.
Yeah, they just have a very simplistic style, which I think works very well. I think it loses style a bit when they do it as simple as they do it.
Yeah.
And it becomes a bit unimaginative in terms of like you could make something look really cool, but I think it looks clean and I think it works. And I think it sort of adds to like the premium look of the game. Because it does look very premium. It does. Yeah. It like even by Nintendo standards, it looks very, very clean. I mean, it's to be expected. It's their first big release / platformer for the Switch 2. So you would hope that they'd like try the best to make it as good as possible. But I do like how they chose to go with Donkey Kong. Like they could have just gone with Mario. They could have just given us a Mario game again. But they're clearly trying to make Donkey Kong a thing.
Well,
So
yeah, though this is the good thing about the movie is the fact that it's reintroducing these characters to like the younger generation. So you know, we should get more Donkey Kong games and stuff like that. And then once it's going to be interesting to see what happens after the Zelda movie as well. See what they
for sure.
after that. But yeah, as well as obviously the new environments and stuff, you can also DK can also transform into various animals. I'm trying to find a example of that.
You've gone past the
You reckon?
no 100%.
You think?
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
there we
so
go.
You can Ostrich Bonanza, I believe that's
Ostrich Bonanza.
Yeah, so you can transfer to different animals. And, it looks good. It's kind of like a simplified version of what they did with Odyssey, in that he can Mario can obviously transform to loads of enemies. This time they've kind of like squeezed it down a little bit. It's like 3 or 4 different forms, I think they said, of what we've heard about so far. But yeah, looks good.
Secret ones.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah.
It looks so good.
Like I said, it didn't blow my mind. Like I heard some people talking about it, like this has literally changed everything. It's changed gaming. For me, it just very much looked like a Nintendo game, but that's what I wanted. Like it just looks like a Nintendo polished game, which is what I was expecting it to be. But it doesn't look like it's doing anything surprising.
No.
Like it's not doing anything that's making me go, "Oh my god, Nintendo! They've changed the game." It just they've made another Nintendo game, which is what I want.
The only thing that it looks to do different is the fact that he's like, it's obviously you can destroy all the environments and stuff like that. But that's that's the bit I'm least
really
excited about.
That's really technically impressive, but yeah, I don't want to dig around for ages.
No, well, one thing I did notice is there's no K. Rool in the trailer at all, and I'm hoping
In the trailer,
he could be like the secret boss. Who knows?
I would be surprised if he's not in it at all, unless they're getting rid of K. Rool as a character.
Could be like an Easter egg or something based on him. Like even if it just, or he might be like at the end where you like and they'll like hint at a sequel or something.
One negative.
We'll move on to the individual news stories. Lewis.
Sorry,
what was that? Niall? What did you say?
I've heard one negative about the game.
Go on.
I don't know if you want to hear it.
I do now.
Apparently the camera's ass. Like the way you control the camera in
Death Stranding 2?
No, in Donkey Kong.
Oh, Donkey Kong. Sorry.
Yeah, especially when you start like digging up a bunch of areas, it really struggles with.
Oh, the collision detection.
Yeah. Like people notice. Like, it's apparently made people motion sick as well. Especially if you go in ape shit anyway.
All it was ruined.
I'm not planning on going ape shit. You know what I mean? I'll be right.
You get it, ape shit.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything further to say on Donkey Kong, Niall?
No.
Good.
This isn't my news story, but I've got stuff to say on this.
Okay.
I'll wait for whoever it is, whose news story it is. I assume it's Lewis's.
It is Lewis's, yes. Lewis.
It loves Kojima, guy.
No, yeah, I do. He's a great guy. This is like a kind of a small story, but it's just kind of funny. It's just interesting to talk about. Woodkid, I don't know if it's a band or if it's an individual man.
I thought it was Woo Kid. Is it Woodkid?
There is a D in there.
Unless it's silent. There's a D silent.
It is Woodkid. That's mad, that.
Yeah. Regardless if he's a man or if he's a band, he basically spoke about his experience with Death Stranding and being part of like the process of like the game being made, and he mentioned that Hideo Kojima actually changed parts of Death Stranding 2, sorry, because when people were play testing the game, too many people were enjoying it. People were having simply too much fun. To the point where Hideo Kojima then decided no. And it comes down to a quote from him. I don't know if this article has the exact quote. It'll be a bit sad if it doesn't. I have it up.
Is it about being pre-digested?
No, it was something. Well, this is probably close enough, but this is paraphrasing what it is. But yeah, it says here, we've been testing the game with players, and the results are too good. Woodkid continues to say they like it too much. That means something is wrong. We have to change something. I can't find the exact quote, but it basically Kojima ended up saying something like,
"If everyone likes it, it means it's mainstream.
Yes,
it means it's controversial, conventional." It means it's already pre-digested for people to like it. And I don't want that. He doesn't want pre-digested stuff.
I want people to end up liking things they didn't like when they first encountered it, because that's where you really end up loving something.
He doesn't want to be a mother penguin.
Reading this from Games Radar, by the way, just to give credit.
And first of all, obviously, it's very pretentious.
It's Kojima.
Yeah, it's a very funny thing to say, but that is the thing. It's Kojima, and I feel like he's earned the right to say this. But I just wanted to, I guess, discuss whether or not you think it was right for him to change things, but also do you agree with what he's saying?
Yeah,
About
I do.
about too many people liking a game, and you want something that really sticks with people, and the stuff that sticks with people is the stuff that you change your mind on. Do you agree with that? On all that stuff?
Specifically with Death Stranding, like I said when we talked about Death Stranding last pod, it felt like it took a lot from me. Like it felt like it was stealing from me, and that just made the payoffs better. And yeah, everything which is like prickly or sticks out about that game is stuff which probably isn't conventionally something which people like. Like for example, with the UI, the UI is god awful, but
Terrible.
after 20 hours, I was fucking zipping around that map. Like even though there was a million icons on screen, I knew exactly what I was looking for and how to use it, and it felt good that was the case. I think he's just that confident in the story that people will be able to put up with everything around that.
Yeah, exactly. Like Death Stranding. I think it'd be quite a stretch to call it a fun game. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not a fun game. It's an experience, and that's what he's going for. And I think, like he says, or what he means is that if something is conventional and something is fun and all that kind of stuff, it will eventually just be lost to time. Whereas Death Stranding very much has a place in video game history.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking as well. As I think what he said is being misconstrued by a lot of people. I think in terms of what he's saying, like Oliver just said, is he doesn't want it to fall in line with everything else that already exists. He doesn't want it to be something that is not remembered because it's the same as 70 other games that already are out there. He wants it to be something that, regardless of if you love it or hate it, you speak about it. And I think that is a good thing. I think that's what generates new ideas, and I think that's the only way really we move forward with stuff like this. It's fine to have games that are similar. I mean, it works. It's a pattern that works. Like, think about when Breath of the Wild came out, and then every other game was like, "We're just gonna copy this."
Yeah.
And like 50% of those games went nowhere. They failed. But then other games like Genshin Impact and stuff, which literally stole from it, became like an entire new genre in itself and like this worldwide massive thing. So like, yeah, it's fine to like copy stuff, but I understand where Kojima's coming from for sure. And I think that's the reason why his games always stick with people, to be honest. I think that's the reason all of his games are always spoken about, whether they love or hate it. You know it's a Kojima game.
He doesn't just want to make a video game. He wants to make it.
No.
He wants to make an experience. He wants to make something new. He wants to make something that's going to.
And I love that because I don't want to necessarily say we don't have a lot of people like that, because I think it's hard to get into a position where you have this freedom to do bullshit like this and just, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. A lot of people do play it safe in this industry, obviously, because they want money. Like, they don't want to fail. They don't want to put a ton of hours and a ton of effort into something that just doesn't do well. Which is obviously one of the reasons why we get a lot of the same like slop and a lot of the same just like regurgitated just ideas. So it's nice that we have people like Kojima in the industry that just do it for the love of the game, and they just want to make something that they want to make. I don't know. It's just made me more excited for it. Reading this comment, just it didn't make me angry like some people. Some people got really upset about it. But to me, it just came across as like classic Kojima. And whether or not you think that is pretentious, fair enough. Like it is very much pretentious. But that's just who Hideo Kojima is.
Yeah.
And it's made me more excited for the game, honestly. I feel like it's going to be just incredible from beginning to end.
If you're playing Death Stranding 2, you played Death Stranding 1. You know what I mean? At that point, just trust the man. You know what I mean? If you trust him enough to go for a 30, 40-hour game, which is essentially just walking, you know what I mean? You should trust him that he knows what he's doing with number 2.
Speaking of Death Stranding 1, we're going to be doing a retrospective, aren't we, fellas, before the second one comes out?
A heavy doubt, because we don't have time.
Because we've not got time.
Have we not got time?
We've not got time. I'm not here next week.
Oh, because you're on your Ollie Bobs, aren't you?
Yeah,
no, man, we're not going to do it. It would have been good. It would have been good, though.
It would have been.
It would have.
We are reviewing. We will be reviewing Death Stranding 2 once me, Lewis, and Niall have finished it.
Yeah.
Which may take a while.
I'm not playing.
You're not playing.
Yeah, Alex gave up on his playthrough of the first game.
It doesn't like good stuff.
I bailed.
He bailed. Right.
Marathon. So I've got this story.
Sorry.
It's so am I. Like just about marathon, really. But yeah. So marathon's been delayed indefinitely. I've got a quote plus a plan on what they're gonna do. So I'm gonna read that. It's a bit long. So
Make sure
this
you
was
say where you're
from
reading it from.
a screenshot which I have taken, and I don't know where it was initially from. I took the screenshot from a Skill Up video, so wherever he took that from, he's probably credited it. So go to the video if you want to see where it's from. So this is from the Marathon Dev team. Dev team. Thank you not only for your passionate feedback around the marathon reveal and alpha playtest, but also for your patience while we took the time to listen closely and chart our next steps. Through every comment and real-time conversation on social media and Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. We've taken this to heart, and we know we need more time to craft Marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. After much discussion with our dev team, we've made the decision to delay until September 23rd. And this is what their plan is. So some of their immediate focus areas will be upping the survival game, so more challenging and engaging AI encounters, more rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events, more combat, making combat more tense and strategic, doubling down on the marathon universe, so increased visual fidelity. That probably means taking out the stolen art assets, more narrative and environmental storytelling to discover and interact with, a dark tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy. Apparently, there's an original trilogy. I thought there was just one game. And then finally, adding more social experiences, so a better player experience for solo/duos and proximity chat as well. So that's a lot, which I guess is why they haven't given us a new date, which is why it's delayed indefinitely.
Original trilogy of what?
Yeah, I'm confused about that.
Marathon. Did you not know at least about the original game?
There's another game.
Marathon was like it is a game that came out in like the 90s.
Oh,
no,
I did not know that. Yes, sorry. Is that also made by Bungie?
It was released in 21st of December 1994. Yeah, it's a trilogy developed by Bungie. Yes, Bungie, Bandai, and Xbox Game Studios, apparently. Oh, yeah, developers Double Art, Bungie, and Freeverse Inc.
Wait, Xbox Game Studios?
Apparently so. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
In what year?
1994, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they
but
didn't
exist. Yeah, it can't be.
That's what it says on the Wikipedia.
Maybe it's just they've changed. Maybe it was like Microsoft Game Studios or something.
Oh, because it was ported to the Xbox 360. Well, Marathon 2 only was anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'll be it then.
Yeah, that'll be what it
Yeah.
was. Okay.
So the last, yeah. There we go. So yeah, they're doing a lot. That's why they haven't given us a new release date, because they're essentially like
The promise one for fall, don't they? So they say.
What, an update on development?
No, release date.
Yes.
Release date. They promised a release, not a release date in fall. A release date will be announced in fall.
In fall. Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, that's what they've said.
Lewis nearly falled off his chair then.
I did not.
I've got nothing to say on this. I've lost all interest in this game.
I mean,
same.
I have some stuff to say, but it's more just along the lines of I'm really worried that this game is going to die, and that all their efforts are going to mean nothing. And I don't even mean like a slow, gradual thing. I mean just even on launch, and it's mainly just due to what Bungie has been doing with Destiny for the past like 3 or 4 years. They were already making a game that no one has liked for years and years because the decisions they keep making are just worse and worse every time. So to move on to a completely new game within a genre that already is not that popular and is already quite niche, and then obviously all this controversy surrounding it, like this open beta or this early alpha and whatever it is and stuff. I'm just really worried about the future of the game. I'm not one to want a game to die at all. Like that's the last thing I want. I want these games to come out. I want them to do well. And I want new experiences for us to be able to have. But like, I don't know. There's just a lot of things I feel that are pointing towards that stuff isn't going to go well for it. I don't know. I'm just a bit worried. It just doesn't look good.
It is sad to see Bungie doing this kind of stuff, especially because the fact they went independent, didn't they?
Yes,
like they removed themselves from Activision and somehow only got worse doing that. Like that's never happened before. You know what I mean? They've pulled themselves out from under Activision's thumb and are making things worse.
And they're still falling apart.
Yeah. It's just sad to see because they were such a good studio. You know what I mean? Even Destiny when it first came out was excellent. It was like really really good. I really enjoyed my time with it. But even going back like the Halo games, you know what I mean? They haven't been as good since Bungie stopped being involved.
I really hope they can like turn it around and like whatever changes they're gonna make and are gonna be significant enough to I guess revitalize like people's love and excitement for the game. But I just feel with where the game is at, the changes are never going to be that substantial, and I still feel like it's going to be a tough sell with what the game is. Yeah. So we're just gonna have to see, I guess. But it's nice that they're delaying it at least, and they've seen that there's clearly way too many issues. So it's nice that they're at least trying to fix it, but we'll just have to see what the plans are further along.
Yeah, cracking. Well, we'll move on to Alex's. So we know we've got an update of this at the top there, but we'll go with the original story first, please. Big L.
Yes, so in London, there was a giant advert for Metroid Prime 4 indicating that it was out now, which caused a lot of confusion because people were like, did they shadow drop this game? Because like people are genuinely confused. But we do have an update saying from someone from Nintendo, and I quote, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 Edition are not yet available and are scheduled for release in 2025. Yeah, it's a bit of a fumble from whoever did that.
It's just a strange one.
At least they doubled down that it's coming out in 2025.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's got that for the draft?
You.
Ah, well, there you go.
That'd be sad if it does come out. I think what happened based on what I could tell from the other pictures, because this picture that Oliver's got doesn't show them all, but on to the left of this and to the right of this, there is both a Mario Kart, and I think a Mario Party on the left, and they both also say out now. And what people think has happened is whoever was designing these posters just had a template. And when they did the Metroid Prime one, they just didn't remove the out now thing that's also on the Mario Kart one and the other one. And I think, it just wasn't cross-referenced, wasn't double-checked, and it's just sort of got sent out, and it wasn't... Like, that poster, I'm sure, was meant to be there. There just wasn't meant to be a massive out now thing on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just where the fumble came along. Obviously, I didn't see this and think, what the hell, have they shadow dropped it? But it did make me it did make me consider, are they dropping it soon? Like, are they plan a direct and they've given us a release date and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was less thinking about what was this poster a mistake, or was this poster supposed to go up yet, kind of thing.
Yeah. Because it was more of a thing of like, oh, if they've put this up, then maybe it was meant to come out like relatively soon, and they just like pushed it a bit early. But it just seems like a massive fumble by the designer's part and whoever shipped it out, and they just wasn't checked. No quality control, I guess. And it probably made whoever put that up look a bit silly. I hope they didn't get in trouble for doing this, but you never know. Nintendo are cruel. Nintendo's a cruel mistress, so you never know with this sort of stuff.
Yeah. What I want to know about this game is like, is it a good jumping on point for like the series?
Is it good?
Well, this is what I was.
Yeah, me and Alex
thinking, because
last night.
Metroid Prime 1 is available on Switch, but Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are very inaccessible.
Yeah.
Really, unless they release Prime 2 on GameCube, but then even then, Prime 3 is stuck on the Wii.
Yeah. It is.
So they'd have to re-release them if you want like the full story.
Yeah, even with Prime Hack, it doesn't work. 3 doesn't work completely.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not. They've not managed to even like mod it in a way to make it playable beyond the Wii.
I feel like there is a slight chance, and I don't honestly think this will happen because it's Nintendo and they're greedy. But I feel like it's possible whenever we get a release date for 4, they're going to announce a trilogy that's going to release alongside it, like a collection.
Sound like Nintendo at all.
That does not sound like Nintendo. They only just released the first one.
You could sell 2 and 3 separate. Did they only just release it? Wasn't it like a year ago?
May 2024. Or was it 2023?
No, it's more just due to the efficiency of it, because like we just discussed then, if they don't, we don't have the other two games in the
Yes.
current trilogy,
Well-
and you're going to be going from 1 to 4. And unless they have like a weird schedule, it's like, okay, we're gonna fucking, let's say it drops in December, Metro Prime 4. They would then have to come out by that logic and be like, okay, we've got Metro Prime 2 dropping in October, and then we've got Metro Prime 3 dropping in November, and then
It's not enough time.
we've got Metro Prime 4 dropping in December, which would be a shit ton of money for anyone consuming it, and it would just also be a really inefficient way of playing it. So if they're going to give people a way to play it before 4, the only realistic way they do that is by dropping a trilogy and releasing it to buy before the game comes out. That'd be the only realistic way it could be done.
Yeah.
But it seems too generous from Nintendo. That's the issue. That's like my main issue with it. So I honestly feel like it would be more likely from Nintendo to just not release them all and just drop 4 and that just be it.
Looking back in hindsight, it might have been better for them to just remove the 4 from the title, because no one is picking up the number 4 in a game. You know what I mean? Without
Oh yeah,
playing-
100%.
Oh yeah, they could have just called it Metro Prime Beyond. It would
Yeah,
have been fine.
that would have like sold it more as a jumping on point, and then people
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
for all like new consumers now, it could have been the first game in the series. You know, they're not. But the 4 is going to put people off, I think.
Yeah, it's like with Metroid Dread. If they put Metroid 5 in that title, then no one would have bought it. But yeah, Metroid Prime Remastered came out like over 2 years ago now.
That was 2 years ago. Yes, I knew it was. I knew it wasn't recent.
Yeah, it was a weird one because it came out digital first, and then a month later it was physical. But that was like early, so it was February, March that it came out.
But yeah, I don't know. I doubt they'll do anything good with it. It's realistically a Nintendo thing. They're just gonna skip to 4 and just ignore that the other two aren't on Switch and just carry on like it's nothing. That's the realistic outcome.
So moving on to the last news story before we get to the big cheese. So Microsoft have not announced but confirmed that they are working on the next Xbox console. Reading from IGN, they've said they are working closely with the Windows team to make Windows the #1 gaming platform when talking in relation to this into this news console. So this comes hot off the heels of the ROG Ally Xbox handheld being announced, and we saw they were using like a slimline version of Windows. So it's looking like the next actual Xbox console is going to be a Windows PC. Not a Windows PC as we know it now. It will be similar to how Steam OS works. There'll be an Xbox OS that has Windows running underneath, very slimline version of it, but a GUI will run over the top of it and make it look all nice. The exciting part of this is, from what we've seen so far, they are going to allow access from the Steam store and Epic's Game Store, as well as Game Pass. There might be other stores that they add as well, like GOG and stuff like that. And what that means is they're going to be releasing a console which a lot of people already have thousands of games for, and that to me is something to be very, very excited about.
I'm excited. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
You don't sound it.
No, yeah, I'm buzzing, lad. Especially if like Sony release day one PC, then there's literally no reason to buy a PlayStation, and which I'll be happy about.
They're never gonna do
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah. So this is the thing now. Now that we know what this is and what Xbox are now doing, that has confirmed that Sony will never ever do that, because they are then just selling all of the only reason to buy a PlayStation at that point is the exclusives, and even then, if you wait a year, they'll come out on PC. So it's for the impatient people who don't want to wait. They will need a PlayStation to do so.
Yeah, it's definitely like killed off any idea from Sony that they're gonna do that. It just wouldn't make sense, because even if like you have a PC, and you're waiting for the PC versions of these games, you can even still get trophies. If trophies is the only thing you're attached to on like PlayStation stuff, like you can still get them on PC games for PlayStation as well.
Yeah,
so they would just kill their entire selling point. They would just get rid of it. So that's not going to happen. But I think it's disregarding Sony. It's nice that we'll have access to basically every other gaming storefront on the Xbox.
Yeah.
It pretty much opens up the potential for infinite games, unlimited games, some would say.
And unlimited bacon.
The unlimited games.
So at the moment, we've got no games, unlimited bacon, but now we're going to have...
What the fuck is this meme? This is the second time I've heard this now. What is this?
It was originally a question from Mr. Sark, like
Oh,
20,
banger.
like not 20, but like 15, 17 years ago on like Machinima.
Right.
And then it's come back in recent years from a different podcast group, and they always ask their guests, would they rather have unlimited games or unlimited bacon or unlimited games and no games.
What?
Yeah,
It still doesn't make
no, that's
sense.
that's
Unlimited
right.
games and no
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Or bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, bacon.
You can either see either have unlimited video games or you can have unlimited bacon.
Right.
No. Wait, no, unlimited games.
No, yeah, it's limited games and no bacon, or
Right. Okay. So
Unlimited bacon
that
and no
makes
games.
sense.
No games.
That's not what you said. What you said was unlimited games or and no games.
No,
Yeah.
that's right.
No, that is right.
That's right.
How?
Okay.
Explain it to me. How can you have unlimited games and no games?
No, would you rather have unlimited bacon and
That's
no
what
more
Game
games?
Pass is.
Would you rather have unlimited
Kinda.
bacon
Oh.
and no more games?
brought mine.
Or would you rather have games, unlimited games, and no games?
Okay.
Right,
And that's
moving on.
question.
Moving the fuck on from that. Right, okay, cool. But yeah, no, it sounds like, I think Lewis, you said it, like, we were talking about this yesterday, you said it best, but it sounds like the ultimate console. It does.
No, it is.
And-
I can see no valid reason, unless you love Sony, in the future, let's say a couple of years from now, 3-4 years from now, you're a little boy, or a big man, or a big woman, anyone really. But the point is, you want to buy a video game console, you don't have one. What are you choosing? It would be silly to not choose whatever this Xbox is going to be. It would just be very.
Is that what you're
boring.
going to do?
I need to see more of it. I need to see it in action. I need to see what they're doing with it first. This is
You said it was silly.
but it's all hypothetical though at this point, isn't it?
We haven't seen
Like,
anything of it.
I'm talking about something that doesn't exist yet, but I'm talking in the future, assuming everything they're promising and claiming comes to fruition and is true.
You'll be buying an Xbox instead of a PlayStation.
Yeah, because
Damn.
why would you need anything else? You
'Cause
would
you
have
love
access to
trophies.
your Steam library, your Epic Games library, your Xbox library, your presumably fucking Amazon library, your GOG library. Like, you have access to every single game you've ever bought, ever claimed, ever on one console that runs everything presumably flawlessly. Or you can just have a PlayStation that only plays PlayStation stuff and that's it, really.
Right? You're preaching to the choir, eh?
Yeah.
Fella.
Like it's not like I've ever hated but it's not like I've ever hated Xbox because it's like, oh, Xbox stinks, PlayStation's the best. I like PlayStation because it's my console of choice, and I'm just more attached to PlayStation as like an IP and like a company. But if Microsoft were to come back into the, and also if you just think back to recent Xboxes in the past couple of generations, they haven't offered anything really. There's been no real reason to buy an Xbox over a PlayStation. PlayStation just as a platform has just been a lot better unless you're really into the Game Pass stuff. But I've always thought Game Pass has been kind of weak. At least until recently, where they've been cooking a lot more. And if Xbox were to come back into the game and offer something that no one else is offering and actually like a good deal, then yeah, there's no reason why I wouldn't choose it. I had an Xbox 360 back in the day because it was the console. Like, it was the platform to play with your friends. If you were playing online, if you're an online gamer, you had the choice between PS3 and an Xbox 360, it would be silly to not go Xbox 360. They had the better infrastructure. They had more people. They had more players. They had party chat. Like, it made sense. But then Xbox obviously fell off. PlayStation did all of its stuff. Xbox coming back into the party is not a bad thing. Like, I'm happy that they're going to be offering us something, and I want there to be competition. I want them to say, yo, Sony, get it together, fucking do something. We're about to do this shit. What are you going to do? What's your hand? I think competition is healthy. I think competition is good. And I think what Xbox are promising sounds incredible. I think it'd be disingenuous to say what they're offering doesn't sound amazing, because it does.
Yeah, it's almost too good to be true, or what it sounds like. But yeah, it solves a lot of issues. Like, so it solves, like, the biggest issue with digital, like digital gaming is the price of it. This solves that, you know what I mean? Because you don't have to, you can shop between like storefronts and all that kind of stuff. Plus, you got Steam sales that are going to continue. You'd just be able to get cheap games. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sony responds to that, and how like even Nintendo responds to that, because they're still charging a massive premium for their digital games. So it's like you say, it doesn't. Sony needs to respond. PlayStation, the next PlayStation needs to be something that actually responds to this. Otherwise, it would be a stupid decision to go to PlayStation.
That's what I mean. Like, based on what we've been told, there just seems like there'd be no reason to go with PlayStation unless you're just that attached to like trophies and stuff, and that's it. Like if that's all you care about when you're playing your games, you want the trophies, you want that just like I guess nostalgia hit from like your account that's carried on for years and years, then fair enough. But if you're just a gamer who wants to play games, there'd just be no reason to go PlayStation. It just wouldn't make sense.
There's achievements anyway. At least all Xbox needs to do is just give you a little sticker on your account for getting all the achievements in the game, and it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but it like I said, that's why it's all hypotheticals because it does seem too good to be true. It just seems way too impressive. Unless they're gonna like break the bank and like charge a shit ton for these things. And I don't know. That's why we just sort of got to wait, and it's difficult to fully commit to it at this point in time because it is all just a dream.
We will know at the end, towards the end of the year, when the ROG Ally X Xbox comes out with this.
The Ally will definitely give us a lot. Yeah,
it'll give us an idea of what because this console is going to run on the same OS. They might update it and change it, and as the years go on. But in my mind, the handheld and the console are going to run on the exact same thing. And what's going to be interesting as well is if they actually allow, like obviously you have to pay for a license with like Windows, but if they allow people to use this, because the people could create their own Xboxes.
Yes, for sure.
Like you create your own console and run it however run it with whatever specs you want. But when it comes to the actual like console pricing as well, we've discussed that it's probably going to be multiple SKUs because if they try and aim for like the power of a Steam Deck for the smallest one, we're looking at what, £500, which is around what consoles are going to cost next generation, if not more. But then you could have multiple SKUs on top of that as well. Like you could have like a 1500 one if you want, and have an absolute like 1590 or whatever the graphics card is at the time running in it, and it'll be be really. I know they say they're working with AMD, so whatever the equivalent's going to be. So it just it opens up options for a lot of people. People will be able to play it how they want.
I think it's sort of the future of gaming going forward as well, because one thing that we haven't really mentioned as well is it introduces the idea of backwards compatibility to a level we've never really seen before. Because outside of like Nintendo exclusives and PlayStation exclusives, and even then, obviously PlayStation exclusives are on PC now, PC games, Windows, going all the way back to like the 90s, have pretty much access to the entire library of video games that have ever come out, pretty much. Like, it has everything. So having one machine that can play, we don't even have to go that far back. Let's say go like, I don't know, 15 years or so back. Fallout 3, for example, that struggles on like some modern like Windows machines just because it came out and like during the time when it was like Windows XP or like Windows Vista, it worked on that operating system, blah blah blah. If they can get all of this stuff just running on one operating system and you can play pretty much anything you want, it opens the doors massively, and it gives us what we've sort of been wanting with games, is being able to play any game anywhere I want, anytime I want, without hassle and struggle. And having Microsoft's backing behind that, who have access to this operating system and can sort of change things the way they want it to be, and like change compatibility with stuff, I just think it's really good. I just think it's such a good idea. And I'm excited. I'm excited to hear more about it. I'm excited about the future. And I think it's going to create a lot of competition, which is good. Yeah. Like, nothing is wrong with competition.
Yeah, touching on backwards compatibility as well, because they've promised full backwards compatibility. They say it's a massive priority for them. There are Xbox games that are not currently playable on Windows. So that says to me they are working on one hell of a fucking emulator.
But that's the thing, is I believe them as well, because out of all the companies, Microsoft have been the only ones to really give a shit about backwards compatibility and trying to keep these games playable and in a playable state. And it's sad to see that Sony, and I mean, I guess Nintendo are kind of trying it with that whole Nintendo Switch Online thing. Like, they are bringing back these old games or whatever, but it's still tied to a subscription.
Yeah, and they're making you pay for it. They're like, that's not true backwards compatibility. That's just selling you the same games again.
Xbox, ever since like 2016, have been like made it such a big deal to try and make sure everything runs on the current Xbox. You can play Xbox 360, Xbox One, like it's all there. So when they say they're planning on that, I do believe them.
Yeah.
because they're the only company that's actually cared about it.
We sound like shills, but they've been consumer friendly now for a long time, and they are continuing to becoming more consumer friendly, and it's just a good time, going forward.
Just a good time.
Right, Niall.
Big cheese.
My guy.
It's the big cheese,
It is the big cheese as the upload finished.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cracking. Right, just give 1 second. So we are we'll do opening statements. So the big cheese today is we have all played pretty much all there is to offer of FBC Firebreak, which released on Tuesday this week. So we're just going to basically do a quick review of it. We're not making a separate video of it because it just wouldn't be long enough. So it'll be the big cheese. Niall, do you want to start us off with opening statements, please?
Yeah. So I actually have not finished Firebreak, but I did play a bit of it with the boys. And just the headline is it's quite underwhelming, really. There's not really enough content for the type of game that it is. I got it on Game Pass, so it didn't sting as much with the 30 quid price tag, but that's a big contention as well. I do think that it does deliver on something which, for us at least, we don't really get very often, and that's just like a vehicle that just as like a social vehicle where we don't have to focus too heavily, because we'll play like a lot of competitive games, and most of the time we're just grunting or shouting at each other. So that was nice, and it was nice to be in the Control universe again, back in the oldest house. But like that's the thing, the presentation and the art and stuff is all great. It's just the gameplay is just a bit mid, really. But that's me.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you pretty much like 100%. I just think.
What rating would you give it, Niall?
Oh yeah, what did you give it?
I'll probably give it a 5 out of 10. I think.
Yeah. I agree with Niall for the most part. Like I agree with everything he said. I just think the game is more boring than that. Like even with like the vehicle to like give us some sort of like a conversational like dynamic. Like it's nice being able to just chat shit and not care about what we're doing. But I think the game is genuinely very disappointing. I would argue that I was excited for this game, I guess. Not like quaking in my boots, shaking. But I was definitely optimistic and interested because I really do love the universe that Remedy's put together. So when they announced this game, I thought, at least in my head, this was going to be a game that we were going to be playing with the boys for a while, and for the considerable future of like hopping back on. A Left 4 Dead type game where you can just go do stuff for like an hour or so and just have fun. And the moment we played it, I'd say about 20 minutes into it, I knew that it wasn't going to be that, and that's sort of when the disappointment kicked in, which was really sad for me. The content in the game is just incredibly lacking. It's 5 missions. Well, it's 5 missions that you have to repeat 3 times each, and there's only one boss in the game. And I think that's somewhere where Remedy can really shine. I think like their boss designs and like in Control, for example. Anyway, the objects of power really allowed for like really wacky and fun stuff, and I feel like they did nothing fun and wacky with this game whatsoever, other than the sticky notes. It's just incredibly monotonous. I think it sort of wastes the player's time a bit, and expects you to do really mundane things, and that might be part of the gimmick. Is it's meant to be mundane, but that's not fun. Making something mundane and feel like a chore to do is not a fun gameplay loop. And it's just really disappointing. Like in terms of like I said, presentation stuff, it's great. I can't comment on the music. I don't really remember the music. The game, just very disappointing. Ended up giving it a 4. And it's just a shame really, because Remedy are just sort of a masterclass in making video games, and I just feel like this one did not hit the nail on the head at all. Like they completely fucking missed. They went to swing the hammer and just threw it through the window. Like it wasn't what I think they wanted it to be. And it's not what a lot of other people wanted it to be honest, in my opinion.
Now, can you check the chat, please? Alex,
check the chat.
Opening statement, please.
Yeah. So FBC Firebreak gets a big old 3.5 out of 10 for me. I just thought it was pretty boring. I think there was a lot that could have been done with the Remedy universe and stuff, because obviously I don't know much about thing yet. I've only played Control. So I feel like it was a bit lackluster in those parts. I thought the game was just very, very boring and very repetitive. I was getting sick of like doing like, especially the mine level. That was very, very repetitive when it was like, right, yeah, you got 4 rocks to get. Right, now it's 8 rocks. Now it's 12 rocks, and it's like, all right, I'm over this now. And it was just a bit underwhelming as well, especially like in the last level where it was literally just like, right, yeah, just put some heaters next to some like cold areas. It's like that's your final level. You're not going out with this big hurrah. Yeah, I thought it would have been more fun than it actually ended up being. But yeah, 3.5.
I will say as well, the gameplay loop of this game does 80% of your gameplay will just be pressing Q and E or left bumper, right bumper.
Yeah.
That is most of the game, which is ridiculous in a game that's meant to be like a fun shooting game.
Yeah, it's this thing. I think with the little amount of content they had in the game, I think it was important to make it fun. And while it's not unfun, it's also not fun. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, the biggest issue with it is the fact that there's 5 scenarios. You got to go through each scenario 3 times, so you'll get to the first area in the first one. Then you got to do the first area again to get to the second area in the second one, and then you got to do the first 2 areas again to get to the third one. And it's very annoying. You know what I mean? I don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again. It's not offensive. It's not an offensive game. It's just not fun. You know what I mean?
I also think that gameplay loop would be slightly better if the tasks you did per level were either randomized, or if in the sequence of having to do each one 3 times, it at least ramped up in what you're meant to do. Not, for example, go from one room where you have to do 10,000 sticky notes, and then the second room you have to do 50,000 sticky notes, then the third room you'd have to do 2 million sticky notes. At least change what it is, ramp it up like massively each objective so that it feels substantial and different while still retaining the same theme somewhat. Having it just be the same thing over and over again, but you just have to do it more times, was just dumb. I think that was a dumb design choice. They could have made it interesting by completely changing what happened in the next room, but they didn't. It was just more of the same thing, which I think is what didn't aid to making it fun. Like, I think that's what aided to the boringness of it.
Yeah, it's just they must have QA tested this game, because obviously every game gets QA tested. But I don't know who was playing this game and saying, "Oh yeah, this is fun. Yeah, this is."
Even the reviewers and influencers who played it said it was good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I saw as well. I just don't understand.
Maybe we're the problem, but
no, because the
general.
So right, what I've noticed is like the professional and like big like review companies and stuff, they tend to think it's like okay. No one says it's like a masterclass, but they're like it's fun, it has some flaws, blah blah. The YouTubers and stuff who've played it, who are like the general consumers, they all seem to hate it. They all seem to say it's really boring and it's not good. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the discrepancy between actual like proper reviewers and just like the general audience. I have no idea, but it is really varied. And after playing it and all of us basically having the same opinion, I don't understand how it can be that varied.
Yeah, no.
It just doesn't seem right to me.
Feels
maybe people are just too attached to the Remedy universe to say it's bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say we've got at least 2 Remedy heads in this call. You know, you and Niall. I mean, I like.
I like
it. It's not my favorite, but it's a good universe, and like Niall said, it was fun being back in the FBC, but I don't know, man. It's just, like I said, whoever tested this game and came out of it saying it was fun, it's just not. I think the highlight of the game, at least for me. By the way, I gave it a 5 out of 10. Forgot to say that. The highlight for me was Sticky Ricky.
Exactly, and that was one boss. Imagine if they had a different boss for each stage. That would have been that would have been way more interesting. But they didn't. They had one boss. Yeah. One boss in the entire game.
And he wasn't even at the end, was he?
Yeah, no, he was like no. It was at the end of that level, but that was like the second level, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't even like Alex said before. It wasn't even like a big hurrah at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think the closest it got was like because some of them have like the final stage is the exact same task as all the rest of them, but some of them, like for example, you had to put the
bombs or whatever,
the skiers,
The mannequins.
the mannequins on the ski
the
lift,
mannequins
and then the furnace one. That was kind of a boss fight, but it was too tedious to be considered such.
Yeah, I'd argue that it's barely a boss fight. Yeah, it's just like you could say it's one, I suppose, but not really. It's more of a really long-winded, just fetch quest, I suppose.
Yeah, no, Killer was disappointed. But but if you're looking for a Game Pass game this week, we're not going to review this. But if you had to choose between FBC Firebreak and Rematch, then play Rematch. Definitely.
Yeah, play Rematch.
Yeah, play Rematch.
Two games going on Game Pass this week, and I think that are they both PS Plus or is Rematch just Game Pass?
No, Firebreak is PlayStation Plus, but Rematch you have to pay the.
Alters is also Game Pass.
I thought Rematch was on PS Plus.
It is.
Pretty sure it's not.
Yeah,
I swear it is.
But if you have to choose between the two, so a game to play on Game Pass this week, then definitely play Rematch.
Yeah, play Rematch. If you can prove me otherwise, please say so we're not misinforming the viewers. But I'm pretty sure it isn't.
Gonna get some.
You're dead. No, I don't think it is.
It's just Game
Yeah,
Pass.
no, it's not.
Cool. So it wasn't much of a big cheese this week. It was much of a medium. It was more of a medium cheese.
Yeah. Bit melted.
Gone off cheese.
It's a standard cheese.
Stilton.
But we have got a good one planned for the next PTR show in 2 weeks. It's gonna be a good, healthy discussion. We do. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll discuss that when we're back in 2 weeks. But until next time, I think that's it, guys. Unless there's anything else you want to say.
No.
All good, me, bro.
I'm really hot.
It is too hot.
It is. It's like quite hot.
Yeah.
It's a bit warm.
But
It's 26 right now. 30? It's 26 over here.
But until next time.
Crazy.
But until next time, we shall see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.